This is James Brown back in New York. Coming up, we'll have the kickoffs of our early games, but right now, time for a special pregame ceremony from London, where the Pittsburgh Steelers are getting set to take on the Minnesota Vikings. So let's head out to Wembley and our lead announcer, Mr. Jim Nance.
Ladies and gentlemen, to perform the national anthem of the United States of America, please welcome members of the U.S. Air Force based at RAF Lakenheath, and from the legendary rock band Kiss, Gene Simmons.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, saved us that star-spangled banner yet wave. O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And to perform God Save the Queen, please welcome members of the Corps of Army Music and 23-year-old mezzo-soprano Laura Wright.
God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. God save the Queen. Send her victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the
So that's the scene at Wembley Stadium as the Steelers and Vikings get ready to square off. Coming up next, we'll get you out to your game as Week 4 in the NFL continues here on CBS.
We're in London. Nighttime is falling here, and the Pittsburgh Steelers have deferred. We'll be kicking to the Minnesota Vikings to get things started. Temperature about 60 degrees here, Phil Simms, as we get set for a kickoff. And a final thought before we get it started.
Well, confidence. We got two teams that are 0-3. I know they're pros, but Jim, their confidence has to be shaken from what has happened in the first week. Can you get your team, as a coaches, can you get your team off to a good start? I think that's a big key.
It's the first of two games that are going to be played here at Wembley Stadium this season. Today's game is being broadcast in Spanish. We're available using the SAP button on your television. San Francisco will be playing Jacksonville in about a month's time. There you see it's 16 degrees here locally. We'll call it 61 and cloudy. Sean Swayson will be kicking off to Minnesota. The Vikings do have a threat back there. The rookie Cordero Patterson, who ran the opening kickback at Soldier Field week 2. 105 yards for the touchdown, which tied the team record, longest kick return in the Vikings' proud history. And look at the turnout here. There's a glimpse of the Minnesota fan base, which is significant. And of course, the terrible towels are on full display here as well.
A lot of purple. Really surprised they came in late. But maybe they outnumber the Steeler fans, which is always a surprise.
I mean, look at this. 84,000 strong, all standing as we get it started with a run back from 9 deep. It's Patterson, slammed down at about the 17. Shamarko Thomas on the tackle after the 26-yard run back. And here comes Matt Castle. Again served as Brady's backup and got that year in 2008. Started 11 games, 10-5 he went. Then on to Kansas City. 1 year he had a 27 touchdown pass season against only 7 picks and made the Pro Bowl. He's got talent. He's from USC, as is his left tackle, Matt Khalil, who was a first rounder for the Vikings a year ago. And there's Adrian Peterson, the MVP of the league last season. Castle with a slant to open it up and a completion for 13 yards to Jerome Simpson.
I think when you see with Matt Castle today is that this offense will look different because he's going to stand back there and throw the football. They're not going to move the quarterback around as much.
And here's first carry for AP. And Peterson has 3 yards. Again, Christian Ponder, fractured rib. He was limited in practice. The Vikings got here on Tuesday. Practiced at a place called The Grove, about an hour outside of central London. And he's inactive, and there he is, not dressed for this game. Of course, they got the bye week next week. And Castle named on Friday morning as the starter for this one.
Yeah, Christian Ponder actually practiced Wednesday and Thursday.
Castle's pass complete again. And again it's Simpson. His target the first 2 times. This one goes for 9 yards and another first.
Well, this is what you do to a defense. Minnesota, I like what they're doing early. They're going to, the Pittsburgh defense trying to stop Adrian Peterson. Everybody up there to stop him. So what do? Short passes to the outside. That's what the Steelers have been giving up. To the first 3 games, they've been giving up to the opposing quarterback. Matt Castle saw it, and he's doing it here to start this game.
So first down at the 43, and Castle from the pocket zips it over the head of his tight end. He was going to John Carlson, and Woodley was out there on the coverage. Now, you've seen Castle play through the years. Got an impressive arm, doesn't he?
Well, he's got everything. You know, the one thing about him in Kansas City, even in New England, Jim, he's a strong leader, has a wonderful presence about himself, a good athlete, but he does have a strong throwing arm. And with Christian Ponder, they moved him around a lot. Hey, Matt Castle, they want to get him back there and let him throw this ball.
1 second and 10. Running behind his fullback, Felton. I thought maybe a face mask.
It was.
Picks up 4 yards, and there is a flag out. As Adrian Peterson is so happy to see Jerome Felton back in the lineup after missing the first 3 games.
Personal foul, grabbing the face mask, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Felton coming back from suspension, and Peterson happy to have him, giving him confidence running behind his fullback.
Oh, turned his whole head that time. Woods.
Penalty will march the football all the way to the Pittsburgh 38.
When you look at this Pittsburgh defense, I think you can already tell. Adrian Peterson up the middle. He's had success up the middle so far this year. I think it's very hard to go outside against the Steelers linebackers.
He's got Patterson lined up wide to the right. On 1st and 10, going for the home run ball. And to the end zone, and almost intercepted by Ike Taylor.
What you want to do, so many teams, like we said, have been throwing it short. The Minnesota Vikings, they threw a few short passes. Now Matt Castle looking down the field. Ike Taylor in great position. Nice job by Patterson. breaking up the interception. But Matt Castle, if he played more games, I think that time he would have thrown it on the line, on the inside. If he would have, it would have been complete.
2nd and 10. And trying to cut a couple of times and able to squeeze the most out of it possible for only 3. It's Peterson again. Coming off a nearly a 2,100-yard season last year, 2,097 yards. And again, he opened the year with an electrifying 78-yard touchdown run, but since that first carry of the season, he's been averaging under 3 yards per rush. They brought in now Jarius Wright as an extra receiver, facing a 3rd and 7. This is pass batted down. That was Cameron Hayward.
Cameron Wade, Hayward, Ziggy Hood, both have been playing so much better as defensive linemen so far this year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good thing that football was batted down because the coverage by Ryan Clark was excellent on the inside receiver.
Going to have a 54-yard field goal try from Blair Walsh, who in his young career has never missed from 50 and beyond. He's 11 for 11 from 50 and out. The longest field goal we've ever had at Wembley since the International Series began in 07 was 41 yards by Lawrence Tynes in the first game in 07. So here's Blair Walsh from 54, and the kick is good.
He made many of them in warm-ups from 56, 58 yards.
Never missed. 12 for 12 from 50 and out. 54 yards and 3 for the Vikings. We're back in London, England. About 6:15 here local time. Impressive start to the game for Minnesota as Blair Walsh finishes it off from 54 yards out and a field goal.
Big 3 points.
It was coming to Felix Jones from 4 yards into the end zone, running behind Jonathan Dwyer, and he gets it to the 20. Here comes Ben Roethlisberger talking to Big Ben. And they love the fact that Big Ben's coming to the home of Big Ben. He says, I really like this team. I don't care about those percentages when you're 0-3, the odds of you making the plays. I don't want to hear about it. We still can do a lot with this season. And the line's gotten better since Velasco got comfortable there at center, signed just after the first week. You see number 26 in the backfield, making his NFL regular season debut, Le'Veon Bell. After a foot injury in camp, beaten in motion, and Roethlisberger able to shake off the sack and get the pass over to Heath Miller for 5. Roethlisberger got away from Henderson to avoid that sack. There's Jared Allen, and those are a thing or two about taking down a quarterback. Henderson nearly had the tackle for a loss on the first snap. And Harrison Smith has had interceptions each of the last 2 weeks, the second-year player out of Notre Dame.
Well, Henderson found out, hey, this guy is as big as they said he was, hard to bring down with your arms.
Now they'll go empty with 5 wide on 2nd and 5. Quickly over to Wheaton. Wheaton finds a seam and is able to race across the 30 for the first down, a gain of 6. Well, the Steelers' early season struggles, winless through 3 games for the first time since 2000. Not a single takeaway on the year to this point. They have not had a rush touchdown going back even to last season. They have really struggled in the running department, and of course that begins up front, Phil.
Well, that's right. It all starts and ends right up front. It's not Steeler football. Of course it's not. The offensive line is struggling, and everybody knows around the league they're not going to run it down your throat either.
Here's Le'Veon Bell, and he's tripped up as he makes the cut, trying to get away from Harrison Smith. Holds him to a 1-yard gain.
The offensive line has struggled physically, not being consistent, Jim, but they've made mental mistakes, and that's something you can't do in this league. Like, if you got to block a blitzing linebacker, you got to do it. And to compound it, Ben Roethlisberger's made some mistakes reading defenses that's just really it's just blown up on him.
Ben personally accounting for 7 turnovers with 4 picks and 3 lost fumbles. Here he's got it into the hands of Antonio Brown coming off a career game. And Brown with a stiff arm and pushed out by Rhodes, but picks up 5. That game by Antonio Brown last week was not enough to lead them to victory over Chicago, but he had 9 catches for 196 yards and a couple of touchdowns, and one of them was a tremendous highlight, this one right here.
Beautiful. Well, you talk to the Minnesota Vikings. What about your defense today? They just go 84. What a 84. Cover 84. Antonio Brown, he is a big weapon, of course, for the Steelers offense.
And the Steelers face a 3rd and 4 from their 37. Roethlisberger able to pump fake and buy some time. He goes down the field. Wheaton's open, but he's out of bounds. Pass is well over his head and out of play.
Really, really good timing by the Minnesota defense. The blitz caught him by surprise. Here comes Greenway. Nobody there to block. Robinson on the outside, and Roethlisberger twice escapes trouble, but not able to hit the play down the field.
Zoltan Mesko, the former Patriot punter. Steelers released Drew Butler and then signed Mesko right before the first game of the season. Sending it down to Marcus Sherrills. Steps up and fields it at the 27 and gets past a couple of Steelers, but there is a flag down. There's a flag down back where he caught it as he races inside the 10 and is dragged down at the 8-yard line by Jason Worrells. 37-yard punt, 67-yard run back, but likely coming back. Lee Blakeman and crew here in London.
We have an invalid fair catch signal against the return team number 35. The penalty is 5 yards from the end of the kick. First down, Minnesota.
So Sherrills, well, they said that was a fair catch signal. And it comes back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Verizon Edge. Get that new phone feeling again and again. And by Orville Redenbacher's Popcorn. Get your Orville ready.
Back here at Wembley Stadium. And the penalty against the Vikings. Illegal fair catch signal, and a call you agreed with.
I did. Just that little bit of movement by Sherrills is enough to stop a player from tackling.
To the right side they go. Simpson has already now 3 catches, all of the short variety. This good for 7.
Well, number 35, Sherrills, watch the little move with the right hand. Oh, and if you're a defender, you think, was that a fair catch? And you have to be careful because you don't want to get a personal foul by hitting the returner, and it's a good rule to protect the players.
Yeah, you saw Shamarko Thomas of the Steelers in the area, and it's just enough to freeze you long enough to be able to get past the wave as he did. 2nd and 3 now for the Vikings.
This offense of the Vikings kind of reminds me of what the Bears did to the Steelers last week.
Castle, middle of the field, and that was an inaccurate throw. He was trying to hit Peterson. Fantasy football fans, still time to get in and play with the best this season. New games are available to join today. You can sign up right now, cbssports.com/football. Now, you talk about the odyssey, if you will, of the career of Matt Castle to Kansas City after, of course, starting out with New England. And then free agent in the offseason. Right. He boiled it down to 2 teams, Tampa or Minnesota.
Well, because he wanted to be a starter, probably could have started either place.
Got the completion to Greg Jennings, the former Packer, past the 50, and he's got open space. Jennings breaks the last tackle and is in for the touchdown. Greg Jennings got away from Cortez Allen and William Gay and takes it 70 yards for the touchdown.
What a play. That time, good read by Matt Castle. The defense was being very conservative on the outside. They gave Greg Jennings a lot of room. Matt Castle fires it out there. And not only the good move to get this first separation for the defense, but the cutback to get away from Cortez Allen and get him into the end zone.
I still thought that maybe Allen would recover after missing him early, catch up with him in time, but Jennings
still has the speed.
Yes,
he showed
he
everybody
does.
that time. Not just a slot receiver, play outside and make big plays.
Polamalu was trying to catch him at about the 5, but Jennings now, the longest pass play of the season for Minnesota. The former Packer, this is why they signed him in the offseason. He takes it 70 yards for the touchdown. Greg Jennings' first touchdown as a Viking after scoring 53 regular season touchdowns up in Green Bay. Most of them, 38 of them, from Brett Favre. Mike Tomlin furious on that Pittsburgh sideline. Just the back end of it as he talked to his secondary, the likes of Ryan Clark, Troy Polamalu, and others.
That's who he's yelling at, Jim. Okay, we gave up a short pass. We had 5 defensive backs that didn't get there and make the tackle.
After a brief pause, Felix Jones decides to come out with it. And he gains +5 past the 20.
Pretty simple game plan when you look at what they're going to do today. I can see it already like Chicago did. Throw it to the guy that's farthest away from the receiver. Just watch Troy Polamalu hustle here. Inside, trying to stop short routes. Jennings with a good move, and Troy Polamalu never gives up to the outside and almost gets there inside the 5.
Polamalu at the end. The Vikings now with a first quarter touchdown in 8 consecutive games. That's a team record. Meanwhile, the Steelers have not scored a touchdown in the first quarter in their last 8 games. And again, they'll go with Bell. The second carry is good for 6. Well, we were laughing a bit about Big Ben. And Big Ben, he was here this summer to help promote the game in front of the historic London landmark.
Man, that's awesome.
Help support this international series for the NFL. And visit with some Steelers supporters here from the UK. Went over here with his wife Ashley. They also made a little trip up to see Ambassador Rooney up at their home up in Ireland. Short trip. Don't want to be away from Vin Jr. too long. And they go inside now with Antonio Brown. And Brown has it out to the 41. By the way, in case you're wondering, Big Ben, I mean, who rules? Let's break it down here with a tail of the tape. One is 31, the other's 154. One has 4 rings, that's per hour.
Yeah.
And the guy in the Steeler uniform has 2 Super Bowl rings.
Well, they're both big figures in many ways, no doubt about it. How about Antonio Brown on the old speed sweep? Never works in the NFL, but it did for the Steelers that time.
First and 10, play action fake, and now the chasing after. He spins away from Allen, and then slings it out of bounds and complete. We've got an update. Let's take it back across the pond to my friend James Brown.
Tampa Bay, Jim, off quickly. And Mike Lennon, his first start, he finds Mike Williams on a slant route for a touchdown. That's 8 yards off a turnover, 6 plays, 41 yards, 7-0. Tampa, young quarterback's off to a good start.
Back over the pond to Jim Nance.
All right, thank you, guys. So a good start there. Quarterback change, of course, hot news in Tampa. And they go with the rookie today. Second and 10. Walking it down the field to Sanders, and an over-the-shoulder grab it is for Emmanuel Sanders. Right over the top of Harrison Smith and Josh Robinson for 36.
Making a lot of big plays at Steelers offense. And why can they make big plays? Because the quarterback can move and he can throw it down the field also. Antonio Brown, Sanders, both fast, excellent receivers. Got to keep the defense wide to no huddle just because, hey, we got them reeling a little. Let's take advantage of it.
And I think Ben's not even sure. He probably didn't get a look to see that it was, in fact, a clean grab by Sanders. So he hurries him to the line to get it in the books. And you get it back now to Le'Veon Bell. And into the arms of Henderson for no gain.
Well, we've talked a lot about this offensive line for the Steelers. And listen, it has struggled, and they're not happy with almost anybody up there. The center, Velasco, they're pretty happy about that. They picked him up after week 1. He's done a good job. But when you talk to the Minnesota Vikings, they think the matchup is there are 3 defensive ends who they rotate in there against the tackles of the Steelers. That's where they want to win the game.
Jonathan Dwyer has come in at running back on 2nd and 10 from the Minnesota 23. Roethlisberger has a man open, and he finds him. It's the backup tight end, David Johnson, trotting out of bounds at about the 15. He escaped for a moment. Marcus Sherrills picks up 8.
You know, David Johnson used to be just a big decoy, number 85 at the end of the line of scrimmage, but he's turned into more of that than that this year. Getting in the passing game, good blocker. And you look at this revamped secondary of the Minnesota Vikings. I had a chance to talk to the defensive coordinator, Alan Williams. He says nothing changes. All these backups, we worked them all off season. They're ready to play.
The officials on the near side conference for a moment. Greg Meyer, the side judge, talking to Clete Blakeman, and they've reset the play clock. Again, no touchdowns in the opening quarter for the Steelers. Their last 8 games, 8 points in that 8-game stretch. But they're driving here, threatening from the 15 on 3rd and 2. Roethlisberger has his man, and a first down to Antonio Brown. 1st and goal to go from about the 7.
How do you stop him? He's so fast and quick. I watched him before the game, and I'll tell you, he looks like the fastest guy on the field. Bottom of your screen, just a quick move. You win, you catch footballs at the line of scrimmage. Antonio Brown so fast, able to get right away, get open against tight coverage.
Le'Veon Bell back in and running back. We'll call it from the 8, 1st and goal. Bell sidesteps the first hit. Now cuts outside, and the Steelers have a touchdown.
What a run.
The first move made it.
Everything you want in a running back we saw that time. Read the defense right, slid sideways. That's what you got to be able to do, to slide to the side and then burst up the field. Minnesota has it packed in. You think they got it stopped? Boy, nice blocking. Keith Miller did an awesome job on the outside. Watch 83. That's the key. Now, when Bell breaks outside, nobody there.
He broke outside to get away from Robinson. Terrific effort by Miller, and squeeze him. Adds the extra point. They had not scored a rush touchdown since week 15 last season. 5 games. And the rookie making his debut has the touchdown from 8 yards out.
NFL on CBS is sponsored by Kelley Blue Book. Everything you need to make a smart new car decision is at KBB.com. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot.
Back here at Wembley Stadium. Pittsburgh driving it down the field. 75 yards for the touchdown. With Le'Veon Bell showing you a lot with that one carry.
Well, I'm not going to say I'm sold already, but I'm close.
You're close. Yeah.
You know, that's, listen, in this NFL, they can't knock them down anymore. You got to find ways to make yards by yourself, and that time Bell did it.
This kid comes up short to the 5 where Patterson takes it. And through 3 weeks, the Steelers best in the league at covering kicks. Did a great job there with Garvin finishing them off. Just a 12-yard run back. Castle comes back out. He threw a touchdown on his last series. And Castle and the Vikings back to the line. Castle telling us this is like a one-game season. We have to go out with the intent to do anything we can to win this game. As the Steelers defend it with Kiesel, bringing down Peterson for no gain.
Well, Brett Kiesel in the league. What did Dick LeBeau say to you the other day about him?
Coach's best friend.
Oh, you dang right he is, because he knows what to do, and he can absolutely still get it done. Not only is he stopping the run, which we saw that last play, but I think he's pressuring the passer more this year than I've ever seen him before. Now, you get him going, Ziggy Hood on the other side is playing well, you got something.
2nd and 10, back to Peterson they go, and again, the Steelers are there to meet him right away. McClendon holds him to 2 yards.
You know, watching Adrian Peterson here today, well, first off, I did not get to meet him and shake his hand. So tell me about that, Jim Nance.
Just about broke about 4 hands
I said,
of
hey,
the CBS crew that was in there to talk to him.
How was it to talk to Adrian Peterson? You didn't say his handshake. Well,
everybody said that.
Everybody said, not just you. I know. I want a piece of him. I can shake hands pretty hard, too.
Joe Webb is in as a wideout, and that slot to the right on 3rd and 8. As Castle steps up in the pocket, and it's wide of the mark, but really well defended. As William Gay had great coverage on that. They were going to Webb.
Yeah, they were, but it was a change-up by the defense. 3 rushers. Everybody else is back in coverage. So look at that. Can you find anybody to throw it to? No. So Matt Castle couldn't even step up and run with the football either because of all the extra defenders back there.
Jeff Locke, the rookie punter from UCLA, sent it down to Antonio Brown. Special teams the first 3 weeks for the Vikings has been problematic. Got tricked up a couple of times by the Browns last week. Devin Hester beat him up pretty good week too. That merits a fair catch by Brown after a 38-yard boot. Let's get another update. Back to JB.
Important matchup, Seattle at Houston.
And Matt Schaub, he drops back. Look at him look off the safety, and then he finds Garrett Graham down the middle of the field. 31-yard touchdown, 6 plays, 90 yards, 7-3 Houston.
Hey, Jim, Phil Simms has a very hard handshake, so I try to give him a man hug, but he bristles whenever I do that. Back to Jim Nance.
I know what you mean.
No.
But it's not Peterson-esque, I can tell you that.
Listen, I'll man hug JB, but I can't get my arms around the big guys.
Oh,
that's why I go.
please.
There you go.
First down from the 45. Great drop back now. And looking long, but going underneath. Ball in the air and almost picked. That's incomplete.
Henderson, the linebacker, how deep is he?
Marvin Mitchell is the one who got a hand on it. Linebacker from the Vikings.
He tips it, Mitchell, and then Henderson almost makes the catch. But that long pass by Ben Roethlisberger, what it has done, it has backed this Vikings defense, it's backed them up. That's why they didn't get that tip pass that time.
Ben was wanting to go long to Brown, but there was double coverage back there waiting for him. 2nd and 10. They fake the reverse, and they dump it off. Screen pass to Bell. Sidesteps a tackle and takes it over to the Vikings side for a gain of about 7.
Excellent fake. They're really moving this offense around. It's keeping Minnesota off balance. Me too. This time they faked a little run, reverse around the outside, then a screen. And the one thing I've noticed, you can complain all you want. Oh, Ben Roethlisberger, him and Todd Haley don't get along. Who cares? I'll tell you this. This offense is giving the quarterback many opportunities to make plays short and down the field.
There is Todd Haley, the former Kansas City head coach, and teamed up for 3 years with Matt Castle there with the Chiefs. On opposite sidelines today, 3rd and 3. And again, Roethlisberger able to avoid the sack, but unable to hook up with Heath Miller.
Well, he was looking for somewhere to run, but that time that was a calculated pass rush by the Minnesota Vikings. Nice job. Everybody just doesn't sell out. So they stay in their rush lanes. Now Roethlisberger's nobody open. He wants to move. And look at Henderson, 50, just looking at Roethlisberger, so he has to throw it away.
So they had excellent field position, but failed to do anything with it. 3 and out. Back comes Mesko. Trying to pin him inside the 10 at the real usually doesn't, but the 15 they'll settle for. As the fair catch is made by Sherrills. 32-yard punt. Tonight, the season premiere of The Amazing Race. 11 teams take off for an adventure of a lifetime. The new race begins tonight after 60 minutes, only CBS. Well, it's been an adventure for these teams traveling over here. And again, the Vikings got in on Tuesday. The Steelers elected to wait until Friday to arrive in London.
We've seen it work both ways. I don't think there's any tried and true formula when it comes. New England came over on a Friday. They played great.
Play action and looking long. Down the field to Simpson and almost. Cortez Allen had the one-on-one coverage.
This is what happens when you don't, a little rusty. Let's just watch Matt Castle. Simpson is on the deep route. Here he goes across the field. The safety's out. This is where you want to throw the football, not this way. So let's watch it. You play quarterback. The middle's open. Let him run to the ball across the field where the defensive back stays behind you. Throw it up the field. He catches up.
2nd and 10. And Peterson plows ahead this time into the meat of that defense for another 5. Jarvis Jones, the rookie from Georgia, one of those to greet him. And Peterson so far has not had any big runs. He was able to help the team a little. Got the face mask that one time. But the longest carry so far, 5 yards.
Yeah, just stay patient. I think with Adrian Peterson, you're going against his defense. If he keeps firing up in there, sooner or later that lane is going to open up, and then he takes off.
3rd and 5. Castle's pass almost intercepted. That was Ike Taylor, who's got his hands on the ball twice in this quarter, almost with a couple of picks.
Yeah, Ike Taylor has seen enough of these short passes outside. He had inside technique, and how about that? He drove right in front of Simpson. There is nothing wrong Simpson could do that time because Ike Taylor beat him there.
Seth Locke, who was actually born in Germany, where his father was stationed at the time in the U.S. Air Force. Somewhat low snap. Fair catch signal. Backing up. Brown all the way to the 23. That was a good-looking punt of 57 yards. We were talking about Roethlisberger and Big Ben as the chimes go off inside here.
Right on time.
Who did that? Was that
it's me.
Was that you or Lance Barrow? This is how he got the nickname, by the way. His sophomore year at Miami University, they had a play drawn up called Big Ben, and it worked against Akron for the game winner at the end. 73 yards. He heaved it 69 yards in the air.
I was just counting that. You're right. 69 yards, 70, whatever. That was
from the line of scrimmage. That would be.
That was awesome.
And that from that point forward, he earned and kept the moniker.
Well, he's 6'4" and 250 doesn't hurt either.
Felix Jones first carry. Only a yard gain on what likely is the final play of the first quarter.
Yeah, crisp. It's pretty exciting. I got to tell you, both teams, they sense the urgency, which is here, and they're letting it go.
Minnesota 10, Pittsburgh 7 after the first quarter. We'll return to London after these messages, and you're watching the NFL on CBS. Tomorrow on CBS, some men are for marrying, some are just for fun. Three-time Emmy winner Tony Shalhoub stars in a new comedy, We Are Men. Series premieres tomorrow after How I Met Your Mother, only CBS. So we're through one here. Jim Nance, Bill Sims.
Yeah, these quarterback numbers, the big play by Matt Castle. No mistakes by either quarterback so far. I think they both feel good the way that first quarter went.
They keep Felix Jones in. He got the handle on the last play of the first quarter.
The defense played their hand a little too quick, so Ben Roethlisberger says, I'm going to change the play.
2nd and 9. Able to get away. A flag is down in the backfield. And it's a gain of about 7 to Brown.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Yeah, it's Mike Adams, left tackle, going against Jared Allen, number 69. Dips that shoulder and goes right around. Good job by Roethlisberger getting rid of the football. I said it's a big key to this game. Gilbert, right tackle. Mike Adams, the left tackle. Minnesota thinks they're 3 defensive ends. Jared Allen, Robinson, and of course Griffin. When they come in there, they feel like any of the 3 can get to the quarterback.
Jared Allen got right around Mike Adams. Went low around the left tackle, and that ended up resulting in Adams called for holding. And they go draw here. Second and long for only 2 with Felix Jones. Since Jared Allen came in the league through Kansas City first before being traded to Minnesota in 2008, since his first year, got the most sacks in the NFL, 118.
How about that? I saw Jared. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim.
No, never had one against Pittsburgh in his career.
I'm just going to say, I saw him his rookie year when he was playing special teams in Kansas City, and I go, wow, this guy is fast. And Dick Vermeil said, got a number, I think he's going to be pretty good. So those numbers back it up.
3rd and 17. Wide receiver screen to Brown. Oh, and he's wrestled down around the neck by Rhodes, and a couple yards short of a first. 15 yards, but too shy.
You're right. The hitting, you can see it, but also, how about Antonio Brown? The Steelers are turning into one of the best wide receiving screen teams in the NFL. 3rd and 17, and he almost gets there.
Zoltan Mesko. Down to Sherrills. Mesko born in Romania. Both punters in this game were born in Europe. Vikings run away from this one. The Steelers down it. Jones, one who downs it at about the 37. 10-7 Vikings. Wembley Stadium. It was first the stadium erected here on this site in 1923. Some of the memories, Evel Knievel. Trying to jump 13 double-decker buses. Didn't hit the landing, broke a bunch of bones, but walked out of the stadium. Live Aid. And, of course, the concert here in 2007 honoring the life of Princess Diana, with performances from the likes of Elton John and Rod Stewart. So the Vikings, after a 30-yard punt, will start this drive in good field position. Their best starting point of the day. And it's Peterson. He's got a little lane here, and he exposes it. Inside the 30, inside the 20, and Adrian Peterson takes it home. All he needed was a little opening for the first time today.
He needed the lane. You talked about it. What a read. What a block. Joe Webb gets Troy Polamalu. And why is Adrian Peterson the best running back in the NFL? Because he can break tackles, and when he gets in the open field, he can outrun everybody. That's why you stayed with it. They stressed to Adrian Peterson all week. Stay with the read. Don't look for the big plays. They will come.
A 70-yard touchdown earlier. Via the air, and now 60 on the ground. Back to a 10-point Viking lead. Peterson explodes for the 60-yard touchdown jaunt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Chrysler. Imported from Detroit. Samsung Smart TV. TV has never been better. And by Bud Light, official beer sponsor of the NFL.
All Adrian Peterson wanted to talk about when we met with him on Friday. We can dig ourselves out of this hole. No heads hanging, no pouting. We can still do it.
Yeah, they've definitely spread this offense and opened it up a little to formation. Some of the play calls very good so far.
It comes about a yard into the end zone to Jones. There's not much there. Only out to the 14. There he's brought down by Robert Blanton, 15-yard run back.
Jim, we got some linemen outside. Watch the seal outside by Kyle Rudolph. Here comes Joe Webb, the ex-quarterback, getting it done inside, and then watch the lead block by Felton. Comes through the hole. Oh my gosh, it's perfect. And then Adrian Peterson does just what we said. You got to make somebody miss, and his speed. I'm sure you know he's fast, and you see him on the field, you go, wow, he's faster than I thought.
Well, the Vikings have not been any strangers at all to fast starts in their game so far this season. They've had second-half leads in all 3 games. They put up a lot of points, but no wins. 1st and 10, Steelers. And look at that tackle. Bell swung down by Desmond Bishop. You know, since last year, the Steelers, look at that's the number of starts from last year on the right. Look at all the players no longer with the team. Or in some cases on IR.
Well, you look at that, and every team, of course, has changes. But you said it on the right, there were a lot of 16s, 15s, and 14s. And I think you got the impression, Jim, when you talked to everybody from the Steelers, that they just hope they can hang in there until all the new and young guys finally figured out they can work together.
Well, you sat down all week and watched over and over again as you see coming to the sidelines. Ramon Foster, you watched the Steelers trying to get some answers because we see him so often in our AFC package, and you thought there was growth there too.
I thought they were so close. Now we got Beacham in there for Ramon Foster. Beacham played both tackles last week. I got to tell you what, he played them well too. So this guy's versatile. See if he can come in at left guard now and get it done.
2nd and 10. And from behind they get to Roethlisberger this time, and Jared Allen it is.
Well, Jared Allen, you think, okay, it could be slowing down. Watch 69. Just explodes. Oh, he knocks the hands down of Mike Adams, and once you knock those hands down, the offensive lineman has no chance. Watch it. Knock them down, right around, and that's what Ben Roethlisberger has got to adjust. Jimmy moves around. He's terrific at it, but you got to understand where your offensive line is and play a little quicker.
He's not a young buck anymore, but he's got 10 seasons under his belt and a sack here to force 3rd and 11. There's Brown slashing and picking up the first with that move.
How about that?
Plus, he got a block from Emmanuel Sanders, picks up 14.
3rd and 11. What a bailout for an offense. You can't block them, so they're getting rid of the football so fast. And these wide receivers, I'll tell you, they're feeling it. And they had about, I think, I'm just guessing the big 3, I think they had like 46 catches in 3 games, and they're not slowing down here today either.
And Roethlisberger 9 of 13 and just over 100 yards. 4 of those balls going to Brown. On 1st down, in the backfield, shaking off the hit as Le'Veon Bell has 2 yards, the 2nd round pick from Michigan State. Thursday on CBS, the only thing worse than having your parents split up is having to move in. Will Arnett, Margot Martindale, Bo Bridges, The Millers premieres Thursday right after The Big Bang Theory, only CBS.
The Steeler offense are trying to keep the defense off guard. You know, play actions, run the ball, different formations, personnel, and the screens. This Viking defensive line, they're up the field, get after type of defensive line.
2nd and 8. Roethlisberger now splits the defenders and fires it in there for a 5th time to Brown for 15 and a first.
Well, the Vikings, wonderful job in the pocket by Ben Roethlisberger. Just feels that he's moved so many times over the year. Nice job, too, by Gilbert staying with Jared Allen. And the Vikings know when the quarterback moves, he's looking to go down the field.
Of course, the Steelers lost Mike Wallace to free agency. And Brown now steps up as the number 1 receiver, which is something that you mentally get a little adjusted to.
Sure. Well, you know, they lost Mike Wallace just because they know they have enough speed outside to go overcome it.
Foster's back in on that offensive front. There's the pass pulled down by Sanders, and 2 Vikings close in on him quickly. That's a 4-yard gain. Yeah, you start 0-3, and Do you make it to the postseason? Check out the teams that have done it. The Chargers were actually 0-4 back in '92. There's Detroit in '95. Buffalo, they did it. And again, we talked to Roethlisberger about it. He says, you know, I've seen those numbers. I've seen that story. They told us about that. I don't care about those numbers.
Jim, you know it, following athletes your whole life. Do they ever say I can't? They always believe until it's completely over.
2nd and 6. Big gets set. Nothing there, and he's sacked for the 2nd time on this series. And again, Allen's in there, as well as the rookie, Sharif Floyd.
Well, Jim, let's just be the quarterback. As you watch the receivers go down the field, can't really tell where they all go, but what a job by the defensive backs. They're trying to go deep across the field. Nobody there. You say, oh, he's open. No, he's not. The time the football travels in the air, those defensive backs would have recovered and probably intercepted. So good job by Roethlisberger just pulling it down.
They've already gotten out of one 3rd and 11 jam, and now it's 3rd and 12. Takes the wide receiver screen. Gets away from the heat. Throws it against his body, and he has Miller. Perfect pass that time on the run. There is a flag down. 29 yards on the hookup. Miller colliding with Harrison Smith.
Personal foul, unnecessary hit to the head and neck area of the receiver. Defense, number 22. Penalty's half the distance to the goal line. First down.
The hit by Smith is flagged for the penalty.
Listen, the Minnesota Vikings were all over this play. They've been throwing screens. They faked it to go deep. Nothing there. And once again, outside the pocket, he is magnificent on the run, throwing the football. And that is a helmet-to-helmet hit against a defender or a receiver who didn't have time to protect themselves. You got to get your feet on the ground, secure the catch, and have time to make a football move before you can use the helmet against the receiver.
And the step off brings it to the 15. 1st and 10.
Man, he's a highlight film every game when you watch Ben
Roethlisberger across the middle. Goes right back to Miller for 7. Miller coming back last week from that knee injury suffered last year. Missed the first couple of games. Came back against Chicago with 3 catches, and such a vital part of the Steeler offense working.
When you have speed outside, you want a reliable receiver inside. That's Heath Miller, and we saw it on Bell's touchdown. He made the block that got him outside to score.
Roethlisberger's hit his last 6 throws.
Well, he is definitely feeling it. He's in rhythm. The fact that he moves around, I just think it helps him more.
2nd and 3. And looking around and finding a man. It's Brown. Defenders are there and tackle him at the 5 near the 1st. Sendejo on the tackle.
You know, Jim, one thing I've noticed about Roethlisberger in this game so far, when he takes that football from under center, watch him. He is getting back, hands on it, moves a little in the pocket, makes a decision, and that is precisely how you want to do it.
Brown did not like the spot. He had a word with the officials, and they are short of the 1st by about a half yard. Looked like he might have had a pretty good argument, too. Timeout called by the Steelers, and they'll have a chance upstairs. The assistants will to look at that last spot during the break. The Steelers called that timeout, so they don't have the right personnel on the field.
Well, they were confused. I think originally the Steelers thought it's a first down.
Exactly.
It was close. Mike Tomlin, if it was me, I'd have been screaming for a measurement.
3rd and a foot. They go with Le'Veon Bell, and the rookie has the 1st.
And you know, everybody is sitting home and going, well, why would you want to do that? And my answer to you is, if you watch NFL football, 3rd and 1 foot might be the hardest thing to get. So you don't want to take the chance. Look how tough this 1 foot is for Bell to get. So that's why you ask for measurements, and especially when you get inside the 20 in situations like that. I am a big proponent of challenging those spots.
1st and goal. 12th play of the drive. And it's Bell trying to find an end zone for a second time. But they collapse in on him after a gain of 2. Greenway and others.
Greenway, Smith, and Sendejo. Boy, they come flying up there. Of course, you're back to close to the end zone like this. Defensive backs can get up there pretty quick, but nice move by Bell once again to get outside.
In 3 games, the Vikings have given up 6 touchdown passes to tight ends. Is Heath Miller about to be called? He lines up in the backfield and then shifts over to the right side on 2nd and goal. Roethlisberger looks for Miller and the pass is over his head.
Tight end against a defensive back. I don't really like these matchups. If it's a safety or a linebacker, I like it. But Robinson that time, wonderful job at the line of scrimmage. He hit Heath Miller, stopped his momentum, and nowhere to throw the football.
The Steelers have had the ball for over 8.5 minutes on this drive. They've converted on 2 long 3rd down plays, and now they have a 3rd and goal. Roethlisberger looks, and falls at the 8 as it's Allen with the sack again.
That extra time, and Jared Allen does not stop. He keeps working, but you got to give a lot of credit to Henderson, the linebacker. He's the one that ruins the play. What's number 50? They think they got a pick. Ben wants to throw it. No, Cotchery covered by Henderson. Nowhere to go. What a job by the linebacker.
3 sacks on that drive by the Minnesota Vikings. 2.5 sacks credited to
Minnesota
Jared
takes
Allen.
its first timeout.
Timeout called by the Vikings. Don't forget that Vikings secondary patchwork with a couple of starters out today, Cook and Sanford. How about Jared Allen on that series?
Well, he was tremendous. Jared Allen, boy, he just keeps working. And a couple times when the coverage has been good down the field, Jared Allen's taking advantage of it and getting to the quarterback.
Squeeze him for 26. He's 4 of 4 on the season. Sweezum's kick is good. But you keep the football for, what, about 9 minutes. And all you walk away with is 3. Jared Allen wouldn't let it happen.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Taco Bell. Sometimes you gotta live Moss. And by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
Nine minutes and 3 seconds is the official duration of that 15-play drive, and it amounts to a field goal in the end.
It's of course, a victory for the Vikings defense, but always, you and I talk about it during the games, your defense does wear down in situations like that, so see if the Vikings can hang in there.
And a kick by Sweezum. Again, deep in the end zone, but for the second time, undaunted. Patterson up the middle, and cutting outside. Wheaton has an angle on him and is able to force him out of bounds. That's about a 41-yard run back.
How easy did he make that look? Oh my gosh, full speed and going sideways. I saw him do it at Tennessee, University of Tennessee, many times. What a move, and a good thing. Wheaton, wide receiver, very fast, rookie. Able to stay in position and stop him from getting about another 20 yards.
Yeah, that going against the best kick coverage team in the league the first 3 weeks of the season. So Castle and the Vikings, they've been on that sideline for quite a while. Down throw it and off the hands of Simpson. Now, again, they got here 3 days ahead of the Steelers. They had landed on Tuesday morning and they went right to work. The entire team introduced youngsters from local London schools to American football. The players and coaches put children from the London borough of Brent through various drills and stressed the NFL Play 60 message, which encourages young people to be active for at least 60 minutes a day. Second and 10. And Peterson. Polamalu jumps back in there along with Vince Williams. It's a gain of 5. Now, after they did the Play 60 camp, and again, that was just coming in from the airport, the team then met with a sleep expert, something Coach Frazier set up. And the message in the end, I asked Castle, what was the message? They said, stay up as late as you can the first day. I think you would be good at that.
I got it.
As a sleep expert.
Yes, I would be an expert. That's some advice. Expecting blitz, 2 people in the backfield.
3rd and 5. And Castle, the ball comes out. He's stripped, and it's picked up by the Vikings. It's picked up by Simpson. Woodley knocked it out of the quarterback's hands.
If it was inside of 2 minutes, it would have gone back. But it's 3rd down. It's outside of 2 minutes. Oh, you gotta, when you move up in the pocket as a quarterback, never take the left hand off of the football.
And you're talking about a Pittsburgh defense that's gone now the whole season without a takeaway, and they can't even get it right here.
Yeah, how about that? The ball's on the ground. They've had many opportunities this season so far. It is perplexing, Jim, because they are fast. They got playmakers, but they just can't get that turnover.
Goes as an 11-yard gain, and we've reached the 2-minute warning here in London. 17-10 Vikings. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Jim Nashville sent right back out of the 2-minute warning with a first down for the Vikings. Castle looking for his first completion since the long ball touchdown to Jennings. And he's got Simpson, who's thrown down at the 27. But a gain of 24 and a first right between Taylor and Clark.
Yeah, nice job coming to your right of your screen. Matt Castle steps up, and oh my gosh, as he ripped that across there. And it's a good thing because the underneath coverage just missed the football. A good catch by Simpson, full speed, reaches back and grabbed it and kept running.
Fourth catch of the game, it's Peterson. And right into the heart of that line, and Polamalu comes up to help out the likes of Williams and Timmons. Verizon halftime report will be coming up shortly. JB Dan, Shannon Boomer, Coach Cowher. Scores and highlights coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Castle throwing wide of Simpson. That stops the clock at 58 seconds.
Well, that's a little rust when you look at the quarterback. I mean, I think Matt Castle's done a really good job here in the first half. But that time he just misread Simpson and threw it outside. Or threw it inside when the curl kept him outside.
And again, Ponder, not dressed, out with a broken rib.
He was pretty dejected when I talked to him down on the field, Jim, before the game.
They'll have the bye next week and then host Carolina back home in 2 weeks. 3rd and 8. With Jennings. And the tackle by Gay prevents the Vikings from picking up the first gain of 6. And now will the Steelers take a timeout here?
Well, they should. Take the timeout right now. Too late.
Give yourself a chance to do something with the last, they could have had an extra 7-8 seconds.
You got Ben Roethlisberger, I'm going to give him a chance.
Finally call it at 38. Hey, Mike Tomlin was saying, I was trying to call timeout. Come on, guys. And they did add 3 seconds to the clock.
Here we go, guys.
Tomlin, 1 year, was a defensive coordinator at Minnesota before becoming the head coach. And the field goal by Walsh is good again. He drills it from 37. 37, earlier a 54-yarder, 20-10. Again, coming up, the Verizon halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, Coach Cowher, they'll show you highlights from around the league, all the updates, scores and highlights. The Verizon halftime report. Another reason you want to take that time out as soon as possible. The Vikings have allowed the most points in the league in the last 2 minutes of the first half or the second half through the first 3 weeks of the season.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard a mouthful, or earful, I should say, of that from a lot of Viking players. That's what this league is about. When you look at it, how many games are so close? So how you perform on offense or defense the last 2 minutes of the half, It's almost as important as the other 56.
8 yards deep in a knee. Felix Jones. Roethlisberger coming back out after being sacked 3 times on the last series. It lasted 9 minutes and led to a field goal.
Well, for Jared Allen, he might have thought he was like pulling down a big old horse or whatever, because Ben Roethlisberger is a big quarterback but plays heavy because he stays relaxed, his feet are in the ground, so when you hit him, he doesn't move, but he has been borderline terrific in this first half. Some of the throws are awesome, moving around, taking the punishment, and overcoming it.
He's got 1 timeout, 39 seconds to go in the half. They go run. Bell finds a little seam and scoots across the 30 and a gain of 12, running behind DeCastro.
I would have called a timeout immediately, so it looks like they're just going to let it go. It doesn't make sense to me why you let this time go. Then why call the timeout before the field goal?
Yeah, they're going to run it again. For another 3 yards. And
well, I guess what they did, Jim, once the field position wasn't to their liking, they said, to heck with it, let's don't take a chance, because they've been making mistakes in crucial moments in the previous 3 games.
And the Steelers did defer at the start. They'll be receiving the third quarter kickoff. Halftime, Minnesota 20, Pittsburgh 10. Back with the Verizon halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Peterson hurdles past the line and outraces the rest of that Pittsburgh defense, including Ryan Clark, for the 60-yard touchdown run. Again, the Steelers had the football for double the time as Minnesota. 2 long strikes for touchdowns, though, and the Vikings are on top.
So that time of possession is not as valuable as everybody said, oh, got to have time of possession. It's about big plays. The Steelers still can't get the turnover, and the Vikings have to do 2 big plays on the offensive side. That's the difference in the game.
Matt Castle and Ben Roethlisberger, the play of the quarterback so far. What do you think?
I think both teams go in the locker room and say, hey, our quarterback's doing a good job. Matt Castle's been safe with the football, did fumble 1 time, got away with that. And like I said before the half, Jim, Ben Roethlisberger, boy, he is the, what's the word for it? They always say he's a deodorant. He can cover up a lot of things that are going wrong, and he's done that to a large degree in his first half for the Steelers.
First half summary, Roethlisberger, there he is, 14 of 19, was sacked 3 times on 1 drive alone. Castle, 6 out of 15, 128, and the touch to Jennings, who had a lot of yards after the catch. But again, no turnovers in this game. Been a big storyline for these teams so far on the early season action, how the Vikings and the Steelers have both been sloppy with the football, and then, of course, how the Steelers have been unable now through 14 quarters to get a single takeaway on the season.
Well, you know, that's one object or one problem, and I heard Bill Cowher at halftime talking about Ben Roethlisberger. You know, he's the type of quarterback, Jim, even if he has great protection, he's still going to take hits. Because if his protection is great, he'll wait till he finds the play that he likes down the field. It's his style of play, and that is never going to change.
So again, after deferring at the start, the Steelers will be handling it first, and they will begin at the 20. Roethlisberger firmly telling us, I really like the team we have. And I think you're going to see this season start to evolve. You know, they're waiting for Miller to get back. They're waiting for Bell to get back. They're waiting for the defense to finally make some plays.
Jarvis Jones, a rookie who, once he figures it out, he's going to be good. And I like their team, too. I was surprised at how much I thought, wow, they're 0-3, but I can see the promise. You got to make it happen.
It's Le'Veon Bell for 4. You may have seen the graphic with this lead now. Into the third quarter, the Vikings have had the second half lead in every one of their games this year. Have not held on to this point for a W. In fact, the last two games ending up falling apart there in the last minute. First to Chicago, and then to Cleveland. Mistrail Raymond is in that Minnesota secondary to start off the second half.
Wide receiver in the backfield, too, with Ben Roethlisberger weekly.
Second down at 6. And there's the completion to Sanders, who came back to grab it. Where will they make the forward progress? And it's going to touch the nose of the 30. That'll be a first down. What do you think the Steelers need to do here in the second half?
Well, they just got to keep mixing it up. Look, you look at the first half, they scored 10 points. They were down inside there. They didn't make it happen. And sometimes that's because their offensive line just cannot dominate the pace of play. They got to be physical up front sometimes to allow the running game to get going and to put the defense in a little more of a guarded situation. They haven't done that.
Bell cutting a couple of times and falling for about 5. He's got 12 carries for 43 yards.
As you look at everything, Jim, it's, hey, yeah, the offense, they were out there, the long drive, they didn't punch it in the end zone. The defense is out there not getting the turnovers. As one Steeler told me, wow, we'd like to have a short field just once. Every time we get the football, I feel like we're on our own 20. That's a hard road to go when you're talking about this league. If you start every drive in the 20, you're not going to be a high-scoring offense.
Second and 5. They fake to Bell and go up the field with the completion to Jericho Cotchery. Gain of 16 and a first down on the other side of the field.
Well, they bring him in motion. He stutters at the line of scrimmage. Really well-designed play. And we've seen a lot of things so far in his 3.5 games from the Steelers that I didn't see last year. The offense is absolutely more varied. I see more options for everybody. And we talked about everything coming together. If this line gets tight, gets moving, look out.
Comes the 7th Steeler to catch a ball as straight back goes Roethlisberger. It fires it down the field for Brown, and there's contact and a flag. Robinson is going to be flagged for interference.
Defensive backs get nervous when that football's up in the air too long. And that's what happened that time. And, of course, Antonio Brown is just...
Pass interference. Defense, number 21. The ball we placed at the 1-yard line. First down.
He is just flying down the field, Jim. Watch top of the screen. He's going to go across. It's like a double coverage, and he takes it off up the field. When you double cover a wide receiver, one has him inside, one has him outside. Who's got him if he goes deep? That's always the problem, and Antonio Brown got behind him.
It's a 48-yard penalty, and the ball set up at the 1. They bring in Will Johnson, his added support, the block, along with David Paulson. Bell is the running back on first and goal. And drive into the end zone, and stop just shy. It's Bell.
Just short. They had it. DeCastro coming around at right guard, pulls just a little bit of a traffic.
Pretty close.
That's really close. Oh, look at that pushback.
Yeah. Inches away, second and goal. Roethlisberger. We've seen him sneak through the years and just lean across. He's going to hand it off instead and find the end zone with Bell. A second time for the rookie today.
Yeah, the quarterback sneak right there would not have been a good call because of the defensive front. Ben Roethlisberger knew that, hands it to Bell, and good, strong blocking that time. Will Johnson kicks out, and Castro once again comes over, but it doesn't matter. Nice job by Mike Adams.
The Steelers come right out of the locker room, take it 80 yards, benefited by a big 48-yard pass interference penalty.
Well, it's kind of been a game of momentum, hasn't it? It's like, oh boy, you're thinking all of a sudden the big play by the Vikings, they got really fired up. But now the Steelers, the offense did it. Can the defense come out and match it?
And again, going back to last season, Pittsburgh had not scored a touchdown on the ground in the last 5 games. They've got 2 today.
Just keep giving it to Bell. Let him get a great feel for what's going on and let him become the lead back.
And squeeze him with the extra point. Robinson's pass interference call. Set it up. Big Ben to Bell. Fitting in London. Le'Veon Bell had more rush attempts than any Division I running back last year at Michigan State. Almost 400 carries. Ran for almost 1,800 yards. The Steelers took a second-round pick. Now they've entrusted him with that backfield role in his debut here after missing the first 3 games with a foot injury. And he has responded. Sweezum sees this kick returned by Patterson. Got a good run back in that first half, and this time takes it to about the 25. Garvin ends it there. Get inside the mind of a quarterback. Join Phil Simms, Rich Gannon, Steve Berline, and Adam Shine. NFL Monday QB. That's tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. And here is the quarterback comparison for today.
Good day for both quarterbacks. 6 of 15, everybody walking. Oh, he's got to hit a higher percentage. Hey, 128 yards. His team was up 20-10 at half. Don't worry about the completion percentage. Worry about winning the game.
Loads up the left side with receivers, including Patterson. Now they shift over to the right. They'll go left with Patterson. He breaks out of the tackle of Cortez Allen.
Wow, he is strong. He's Adrian Peterson at wide receiver. That's what he looks like. Watch once he catches the football. It is a little juke, and he rips through the tackle. And he got mad after that kickoff, and he could have been penalized because he got up, he was frustrated, spiked the football, but they let it go. But find ways to get the football to Patterson. He'll make a big play for you.
On 2nd and 1. Peterson trying to get the first, and he's going to be backed up, but there is a flag thrown in. As Ziggy Hood and Lamar Woodley surrounded him quickly for a loss of 1.
Holding. Offense, number 82. 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Called on Kyle Rudolph, the tight end.
Kyle Rudolph and Troy Polamalu got in the backfield so fast. That's against Woodley. And once the play broke back outside, Kyle Rudolph didn't know. He expected it inside. But how about Troy Polamalu? He plays near the line of scrimmage more than I've ever seen him play in the past. And whatever was ailing him last year, Jim, it's gone. He's fast, been terrific the first 3 games, and was close to making a lot of plays in the first half also.
Dick LeBeau said he's running around like he's 21 again. They take the penalty instead of the tackle for a loss. 2nd and 11. And Castle flings it upfield to an open man. It's Simpson inside the 40 and trying to break tackles to the 25.
The one thing you have to like about this Minnesota offense today, they are looking for the big play. And that time, nice protection up front. Adrian Peterson, what a good job picking up the blitzer. They clean out the middle, and Simpson, he's the man. He comes across the middle, and what a strike by Matt Castle.
Goes for 51.
You see Wright clearing out the middle. Simpson comes underneath. A very basic play in the NFL. Time to throw it. That was the key.
To the Pittsburgh 25. And Peterson drives ahead for 8 more. Peterson, he's talked about one day wanted to break Emmitt Smith's record for all-time leading rusher. And, of course, Emmitt's number, 18,355 yards. With 164 touchdowns to boot on the ground.
That's a great goal, and I hope he does it. He is a tremendous player. Of all the highlight tapes I've watched the players coming out for the draft the last 10 years, there's no question. His is the best I've ever seen.
2nd and 2. Go to him again. And he's about a yard short. Now, he came into the game, AP did, needing 48 yards to go past the halfway point of Emmitt Smith's career total. Of course, he eclipsed that on that 60-yard run. Now he's up to 9,222 yards with that last 1-yard gain. So he's over the halfway point. He's running downhill. I know you love that term.
No, running downhill. You got to play downhill.
And here he is on 3rd and 1, picking up the first. And inside the 10 before he's shoved down at the 7.
Should have stayed outside. Easy for me to see up here. If he stays outside, that's where the big plays are. Everybody wants to cut it back. Oh, he's going to outrun him to the corner of the end zone, I think. But who's got better instincts than him? Here I'm talking about a guy that might be wants to be the best runner in the history of this league. Cuts it back, hard to second guess it.
He's 28 years old. He just went over 100 for this game with that last carry. Sets up the Vikings 1st and goal. They keep going to him. Up the middle and in for the touchdown. Adrian Peterson.
Vikings offensive line, they have absolutely turned it on today too. More physical than I've watched them and seen them in the first couple games. And that time, as you watch the run, Sullivan, oh man, that was a nice block. And Fusco, the right guard, they pushed the defense. Nobody looking for the cutback. Nobody there to touch Adrian Peterson. Well, that was a drive. They made that look easy.
And the extra point as the Vikings answer right back to the Steelers touchdown. Adrian Peterson, 2 touchdowns on the game.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. The U.S. Postal Service. Schedule your free package pickup today. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Back here at Wembley Stadium, where Peterson's putting on a show. They'll have the bye week. When they return from London, he's going to take a couple of days and go back home to Texas, to his old high school down in Palestine, Texas, where they'll retire his number 28, his high school uniform, in a ceremony next Friday night. And this will be returned by Felix Jones, who is chopped up at the 15-yard line. Great bit of tackling by Gerald Hodges. And the Steelers are backed up to start this next series, down 10. Looking in on the Steelers, including John Stallworth. There's Art Rooney, then Franco Harris behind him. There is Dan Rooney, Ambassador Rooney. This matchup against the Vikings, the first of their 6 Super Bowl victories for Pittsburgh, came against Minnesota as they hand it off to Jonathan Dwyer, plowing ahead for a run of 6. It was Super Bowl 9 down at Tulane Stadium in New Orleans in January of '75. And Franco was there. John Stallworth was there. Franco was the MVP, 158 yards on the ground. 16-6 was the final. The Steelers' first of 6 Super Bowl victories. Steve Rozelle said to Art Rooney, Sr., the chief, as they handed off to Bell for a loss of 1. What a thrill it was for the league to give the man to one of the real treasures and pioneers of the league. And now they got a 3rd and 4 coming up.
Obvious run situation. The defense just teed off and tackled the Steeler running back. You know, Griffin, they're thinking run. They played run. They're a penetrating defensive line. And that time they stopped it for no gain.
Trying to prevent a short series here. Need to get up to the 26 for the first.
Trying to get the football to Wheaton, who's in the backfield, against the linebacker, who is Greenway.
There's a completion to Wheaton. You got it, Phil, and a first down. Smith comes up and makes the tackle. The Steelers' offensive front is going with Beecham now, as Foster is not expected to return.
I like this play. You know why I like it? Because there's no blocking responsibilities on a play like that for the wide receiver taking the place of the running back. And why not put a wide receiver in there to catch that pass instead of a running back? Try to keep giving them different looks, do different stuff on the offensive side. It's helping out your offensive line a little bit. So when they want to throw it, they can give the quarterback more time.
First down. There's Roethlisberger. Buys some time and fires, and it's intercepted right into the hands of Greenway.
When it's not going your way, it just doesn't, I don't know what to say. What a job by Roethlisberger in the pocket. He's moving up, 2 hands on the ball. I'm thinking this is how you do it. And then indecision.
He was trying to find Sanders cutting across the field.
Sanders went to go inside and stopped, and you can see by his body language, watch Sanders throw his arms up because he was coming inside and turned to go back out. Watch that move. See, he made a double move. Then Roethlisberger took his eyes off of him just for a split second. This is crucial for the Steeler defense. They got to come through.
Right now, that was the first turnover of the game on either side. And from the 37, Castle comes out firing, and that's the first catch of the game for Rudolph. And a flag on Woodley for the late hit.
Well, he threw him to the ground, whipped him down once they were out of bounds. And you know, I do feel for the defensive players. I say it all the time, but that's a good call.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 56, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Good quick decision. Matt Castle getting the football out of his hands. And when you are out of bounds and you throw them down like that, spin them and throw them, you got to call it.
And it happens right in front of Coach Tomlin.
Yeah. You can't unravel. I'm not saying it just from one play from Woodley, but you got to know the situation, what it means to your team to stop this drive and not let it turn into a touchdown.
First down at the 16. Take the give to Peterson to the end zone, and it's caught for the touchdown. And Jennings has a 2-touchdown game of his own.
They are attacking this Minnesota offense today. Bill Musgrave, the offensive coordinator, every time I go, this has got to be a run, they're coming with a play action, looking for the plays down the field. Watch on the outside. Watch how he fakes. Sells it outside, breaks in. Well designed. And Cortez Allen, what a spot to be in. To be retreating and no help inside. Good throw by Matt Castle. Very strong throwing the football.
Allen, who had been inactive the last 2 games. He gets beat by Jennings. 2 touchdowns by the Vikings in a span of 2 minutes and 41 seconds. Cashing in off the interception. I mean, how about that start to the second half? Steelers march right down the field, score, get within 3, and then the Vikings come roaring back. Jennings, 3 catches, 92 yards, and a pair of touchdowns.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Toyota Care. Scheduled maintenance, no cost. And by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV.
Back here in one of the great cities of the world, London. And a big thanks to our colleague from Sky Sports, this game being beamed all throughout Europe and the UK, of course, producer Carl Bowman and their crew. As the Steelers again will start at the 20. Trying to stay away from 0-4 Pittsburgh for the first time since 1968. It's the last time they were 0-4. They're 17 down with 5 to go in the third.
Well, still a long way to go. Now, a lot of people are probably, I know the questions, and I heard it before the game. Well, they came over late. Is that going to hurt them? Well, if it was up to me and if I was the coach of the Steelers, I'd come over as late as possible. I want to sleep in my own bed. And most of the Viking players I talked to on the field before the game, Jim, you know what they told me? Man, I couldn't sleep all week long. So let's don't take anything away from the Vikings. They're playing well.
Now you're sounding like the sleep expert.
Yeah, that's right.
First and 10
Gotta be an expert in something.
Screen pass is going to go for big yardage. Le'Veon Bell, who was not in on that last series. Dwyer had taken that last series. He picks up with that one. 18.
Wow, I want to be a quarterback in these situations. Fake the screen rights, which they've been doing a lot today, and they go back to the left side. Look at the blocking outside. Very nice. Castro leading the way, and also Mike Adams. Good job.
And Velasco got on the outside also with a nice shove to help free him.
Free agent picked up after the first game. What a job he has done, taking over for Marquise Pouncey.
Draw, Bell. And 4 or 5 Vikings help shove him back. Keep it to a gain of about 3. With NFL Mobile's free trial, get 60 minutes of free live video access to exclusive premium content on your smartphone. Go to NFL.com/mobile to learn more.
Jim, as you look at the game, the one thing I heard many times from the Steelers this week and some of the coaches, that our margin of error is so slim. And what they mean by that, and I'm not blaming Bit, but they just, if they make a mistake, it's like they can't overcome it. So that mistake on that last drive, let's see if they can overcome.
2nd and 6. They seal the pocket for him this time, but the ball is deflected at the line. Fred Evans and Everson Griffin were 2 of the players in the middle trying to get a hand on it.
Well, they like Griffin a lot. You don't hear his name, but he's a good player. And usually when you see tips passes, it's too much penetration by the defensive line, but really not this time. Just a good job by Griffin, timing the, raising that big arm. Oh, it was Evans, I'm sorry, and knocking the football down. There's Alan Williams, defensive coordinator.
3rd and 6. Going down again. And it's the man who intercepted him on the last series, Greenway, who is going to get credit for that quarterback sack.
Really good job again. They're going to do a little blitz. Here comes Greenway. And what it does, it just helps the angles of the pass rushers. Nowhere for the quarterback to run. Nobody gets open quick. That little pick play on the outside. Well done by Greenway and Jared Allen.
A loss of 9. It's 4th and 15, and now to punt for the 4th time. Mesco. Third catch by Sherrills at the 23. 42-yard punt. Minnesota 17 in front and with the football. Back here at Wembley, some more moments. 1923 hosting its first ever soccer match, with Bolton winning 2-0. In 66, the World Cup final, England winning and claiming its only World Cup victory. And in 2012 at the Summer Olympics, the United States women's soccer team taking the gold. Mexico men's team took the gold as well.
Well, let's see if this Minnesota offense continues to attack. If I was them, I would keep the Steelers defense guessing.
They go ground. Adrian Peterson breaks a couple of tackles for a hard-earned 2 yards. I say broke a couple of tackles. The Steelers have had a hard time closing the deal.
Listen, this Steeler defense has been one of the best tackling defenses for the last 10 years. Maybe longer today, and I've noticed a few this year. Even Patterson breaking tackles on the outside, and Adrian Peterson. Look, it's not shameful to miss a tackle against him. A lot of people have done that.
2nd and 8. Castle's going to throw. Castle now going to run with it out to the 32. And what a job today by Matt Castle. Coach Frazier said that, Ponder will get his job back when he's healthy. That's what he said when we met with him on Friday.
Sure.
But what do you say?
Well, listen, I think it's always in flux. In other words, if they win this game today and Matt Castle keeps playing the same way he's playing, it would be hard to go back to Christian Ponder. But I'm going to say this to Christian Ponder. Keep your head up, because always, this league is funny. You could be back in there before you know it. So, but Castle's played very well. They're a running offense. I like the fact that they're throwing it down the field.
3rd and 2. That's Peterson being stopped. Big stop. The Steelers needed it. Timmons and Polamalu come up to force the 3 and out.
Polamalu, even though he didn't get the tackle, he made him reroute what he was doing and allows the defense to get there. Polamalu has been in the backfield all day.
There's Antonio Brown. A minute to go here in the third. Hoping to get a chance to run back the punt. Jeff Locke calling Leffler. Here's the snapper. Left-footed boot. It's a short one. Got a flag too. Brown tries to get the edge. Steps out at the 40. We'll check the flag. Back at the line of scrimmage. 36-yard punt.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 55. Penalty's 10 yards from the end of the kick. First down.
Means Pittsburgh will start this series at the 30, and we'll get an update from James Brown in New York.
Baltimore within 6.
Oh, yes, and Buffalo brings a blitz on Joe Flacco, and he hooks up with Torrey Smith. Slant route to the middle of the field, 26-yard touchdown, 2014 Buffalo.
Jim Nance, Phil Sims.
Right, JB. Dan, thank you.
Well, Jim, you know, heaven forbid they had good field position. Once again, the Steelers offense, where is it? Well, they're outside the 20. 23 instead of the 20.
Yeah, but actually just step back to the 23-yard line to start this series. Up to Sanders, falls near the first.
Steelers going to go with a little hurry up, maybe tire the defense, slow the pass rush, and the fact is they need possession. So if you go the hurry up, Jim, it might get you one more possession in this game to give you a better chance to come back.
They moved the chains. It was a gain of 11. For another first down, this time to Miller. Let's see if they get another snap off before the end of the third.
Well, they should. Look at the play clock. Well, the fact the Steelers substituted, Minnesota got the substitute, and it did. It ended the third quarter.
Through 3 in London. 34-17 Vikings. You're watching the NFL on CBS. The Vikings come through in the fourth quarter and close the deal. They've lost the last 2 weeks in the fourth quarter. They got a sizable lead here as we start the last 15 minutes at Wembley Stadium. Great piece of tackling by Josh Robinson. Coming up on Antonio Brown on a loss of 4.
Good job. Safe defense, just a good play by Robinson.
Again, they'll continue to go no huddle. Right between a couple of defenders is Kachuri, who gets clobbered near the 50, and a flag comes in. We've been watching Kachuri's career through the years at the Jets and the Steelers. I saw him this week at the Steeler Hotel. I said, you get more vicious hits across the middle than anybody.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 34. 15-yard penalty. First down, Pittsburgh.
And that's Going to put the Steelers all the way down to the 35 of Minnesota.
Yeah, and Leslie Frazier, quiet man, just kind of grabs his hair and just, oh man, there's a lot of late hits there. But they're trying to stop that. Once you know the player, and that was evident that he was going nowhere, they're not allowing all these extra hits on receivers, running backs, whoever. It's another good call.
First down from the 34. Felix Jones in the backfield. Sidearms it to Jones, and a gain of about 4.
Now you got a big lead here, Jim. 17 points. I thought the last series by the Vikings offense was a little conservative. They did throw it on second down, and Matt Castle ran it, but a very safe defense sitting back. They're going to allow Ben Roethlisberger to complete passes, I think, with this style of defense.
A 2nd and 6. A pass incomplete. Trying to connect with Emmanuel Sanders. Saturday is the Home Depot College football on CBS. Air Force and Navy. And later on, Georgia off its big win against Tennessee. And at 3 o'clock between the games, college football today. Next Saturday on CBS. 3rd and 6. Roethlisberger up ahead, and it's caught. Nice catch by Wheaton.
Nice catch, and what a throw. They come with the blitz that time, but what's the touch? Roethlisberger just relaxes. Man, he can, even under pressure, he stays relaxed, put the perfect arc on the football, and got it over Griffin that time, a defensive lineman on the backside of the blitz, dropping out in coverage.
Rookie from Oregon State, drafted in the 3rd round, picks up 15 as his 1st and 10. And batted down by Xavier Rhodes. One of the 3 first-rounders for Minnesota from the spring draft.
I said, why not Rhodes into this game? Oh my gosh, he goes under. That was a nice play. Why aren't you starting him? A first-round draft pick. Cook, the corner is out, and they said, he's a rookie. And they like to break their rookies in slow. Reed Floyd, Patterson, Rhodes, all look like they're going to come through for the Vikings.
Vikings have allowed coming in more touchdown passes than any team in the league, but so far the 2 given up today on the ground. Roethlisberger, 2nd and 10. Has it in the goal line and has the touchdown to Cotchery. And Roethlisberger is in pain after throwing the 15-yard touchdown pass.
What a play by Ben Roethlisberger. Look at the pocket movement, gets up, look at those hands. Oh, and yes, as Griffin hand comes by to hit him, they hit hands, it looks like. Yes, absolutely, that was a good shot of it that time, but what a play and what touch on the football. Pretty good.
As the Steelers go 77 yards in just about 3 minutes. Suizum tacks on the points. 34-24. Roethlisberger to Cotchery for the touchdown. They're looking at the throwing hand, as you said, Phil, making contact on the touchdown throw with the Minnesota defender.
You know, Jim, you'd rather hit a helmet than hit somebody's arm. Just think about it. His arm is coming forward, yours is going forward, and you hit hands or whatever like that, it's very dangerous, of course.
There's Gradkowski, the backup, Bruce Gradkowski. He was warming up. The margin was 10 at halftime, and the Steeler touchdown brings it back to that margin with 12:40 to go. And it's Patterson breaking outside. Gets past Suizum. And then coming back over to finish him off is Shamarko Thomas, 35-yard return. Couple of nice returns today by the rookie Patterson.
Good. Nice job in the pocket, 2 hands. He's really done a lot of techniques great. Oh, boy, you could see that. And I'm telling you, that is, count your blessings if it's not serious. Because that was right away pain. The pass didn't even hit Sanders' hands, and he was already grabbing it.
He was right in. Talking to Todd Haley. You would interpret as a good sign as he talks to his coordinator. 1st and 10, Minnesota.
Minnesota's got to go on the attack again.
Hassel, open, Simpson shakes it off, and then Polamalu wraps him up. Gain of 11 and a first.
Well, I know as we look at this game today, Jim, everybody always complaining about, Todd Haley, Ben Roethlisberger, and all that stuff. As I've watched in the last couple of weeks, it's not the offense. This offense is churning out scores, first downs. They've made some mistakes, but it's the defense they need to come through.
Hassel's hit his last 6 throws. Give it here to Peterson for a run of about 4. Talking to Coach Frazier, he said the 2 things I want in this game over here. I want a clean football game, meaning no turnovers.
Right, he's got that.
And he's got that, and we want to close out the game. We want to be able to close out the game.
We'll see. As they first started that closing the game out, it made me nervous, and I've said it a couple times there. So, the one thing, I said it earlier, what I like about the Vikings offense today, if you can run the football and you have Adrian Peterson, when you throw it, look down the field, because you can run it for 3 or 4 or 5. Look for big passes. They've done it, and it's working.
2nd and 7. And Peterson on the right side and a first down and tripped up by Ryan Clark. He is down. Their whistles. Felton helped free him, and Adrian just getting a little rehearsal in again. He's already gotten to the end zone twice. Going to be a gain of 11.
What did Adrian Peterson tell you as you watch this play? Watch the fullback. What did he tell you about Felton 42?
He gave him confidence being back in the lineup with him.
How about that? A running back, he might not have been down there, but it doesn't matter. They've blown him dead. Oh, he's down. Definitely down. He's so fast, I didn't see him hit the ground. But Felton just gave him confidence.
Gerhard is in now at running back. Throw it over to him. Sidney Hood riding with him for a gain of about 7. JB and Dan have the update from New York.
Kansas City continuing to surprise.
Oh, yes. If you're a Giants and you're watching this, when you see a punt return, it can't be good. Dexter McCluster, he spins, he turns, got a lot of room. Nice run, make 2 guys miss. Kicker gets knocked over. He goes 81 yards. Punt return for a touchdown, putting Kansas City up 17-7.
Chiefs looking to go 4-0 for the first time since 03. Back to Jim Nance.
A little salsa.
A little salsa. And Phil Simms.
And the Giants close to dropping to 0-4, down 10. Here's Peterson. Close to another first at 35. About Peterson today, that 60-yard touchdown run in the first half. Then in the 3rd quarter, another beautiful run up the middle.
I would say what he's done today, very patient and just doing the dirty work. In other words, look for the 3 and 4 yarder. If it's there, he's made good decisions. The big plays that happen, I think they really stressed that to him this week, and it's worked.
Got the first down with that last carry. Now he's going to reverse field. Gets away from Kiesel. That's his losses, 2-yard loss. Whistled down. 127 on the game now for Peterson, but the Steeler defense got to come up with a takeaway at some point. This is hard to believe. The only team in the league coming in that did not have a single takeaway on the season, and now we're into the 4th quarter, and that still holds up.
We've talked about it. When you take aways, you got to be lucky, and it is. It's part luck. Sometimes, like sacks, you can be back there all day and never get a sack. It has to fall to you sometimes.
Soda now, 2nd and 12. And that's Carlson with the catch. It'll set up 3rd down.
They're in field goal range, that's for sure. But, Jimmy, you talk about the turnovers. A lot of times they have to come from this, either unbelievable hits on the runner, but it's usually from pressuring the quarterback with pass rushers. And the Steelers are just, they're not just an every down team where they can line up with like a Jared Allen and just say, we're going to get to your quarterback. That hurts them when it comes to getting turnovers.
They failed to get anything here. They could bring out Walsh for what would be about a 51-yarder.
Chip shot.
They made 54 going this way in the first. 3rd and 8. Complete to right. And he's about a yard shy. Taylor on the takedown. 4th and a long 1. And they're going to go for it.
And, and I like the move because Leslie Frazier's going, man, that's Ben Roethlisberger. 10 points, 13, that's how he's looking at it, because 13 is just 2 scores. So if they get this first down here, they take time away, and it puts a lot of things in favor for the Vikings.
A long 1 to go on 4th down. May just be trying to draw him off.
Yeah, he is. That's right.
And timeout with 1 second on the play clock. So they've had the football for about 5 minutes on this drive, and they'll bring out Walsh after the break for the field goal attempt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by 1and1.com. Pre-reserved now from over 700 new domains with 1and1.com. The new LG G2, learning from you. With LG, it's all possible. And by the 2013 Ford F-150 with EcoBoost.
The Vikings lining up for a field goal try. It's really more like 4th and 2, Phil.
Yeah, it is. As I look down the field, I go, well, I don't blame him here now. It makes everything I said before, forget that I said that. This is the right decision because you're right, Jim. It's 4th and 2.
We'll call it a 44-yard try. This time, wide left. No good. He had made 19 straight field goals going back to last season. And the Steelers take over at the 34. One of the toughest guys in the whole league. He's back out there, Roethlisberger, after being injured on his last play. The Steelers take over at the 34 after the missed field goal. Well, at the 35, and shotgun time with inside 7 minutes. Dump it off, and Bell for no gain.
Robinson again. Playing tough. That's all. To guard these receivers, to go inside, play the slot, and then make the tackles and all these quick screens. That's a rough day.
2nd and 10. Fakes open man at midfield. It's Cotchery again. Cotchery making plays here in the final quarter and takes it inside the 40 for 27 yards.
Watch number 50, Henderson, the pump fake. Oh, and he goes for it, and that allows Cotchery to get open and pick up big yards. This offense now with great rhythm.
Skipping outside, Le'Veon Bell driving for what appears to be about a half-yard shy of another first.
David DeCastro, the right guard, what a job pulling around, gets a good block and gives Bell a chance to get out there and get extra yards.
They might be measuring here for the first down. Just inches shy. Just a reminder, don't miss the show that is in a league all of its own. All the guys will take it on The hot topics with the artistry of NFL films as well. James Brown, Phil Simms, Chris Collinsworth inside the NFL Wednesday at 9, only on Showtime.
And last week we had on Jim Brown. Jim, I know you were over here. You didn't get to see it. He was terrific, but he talked about Adrian Peterson. He goes, wow, when I watch him play, it makes me daydream about the days when he played. So that's how much he thinks of Adrian Peterson.
I bet. Second and inches.
Free play.
Steelers go up top for it for the first down to Brown. Steelers do have all their timeouts remaining as we approach 5 to go in the game.
It's a good point. The 2-minute warning, 3 timeouts, 2 scores. So you're in field goal range. Put that in your head and make sure you play accordingly.
Roethlisberger goes across his body to Miller, who tumbles down at the 12 and another first. Chipping away, picks up 12.
Yep, they had 5 people at the line of scrimmage, and they still let him get out of the pocket, and he is absolutely lethal outside the pocket. Throws well on the run, can drop his arm and make any angle to get the football in there.
And he's over 300 for the 25th game in his career. Looking to the end zone, looking, a couple of pump fakes, and now lofting it over everyone's head, incomplete, just throwing it away. Well, you're fighting for a season right now.
Yes, you are. Both teams are. And when you get in spots like this is easy for the offense. This becomes hard as a coach for the team that's leading. What do we do? Do we play safe? Do we attack? And when in doubt, Jim, always go to what you are. Be aggressive.
Haven't seen as much pressure in the second half on Roethlisberger from that defensive front, which made a lot of noise in the second quarter alone.
Good point.
2nd and 10, and Roethlisberger throws incomplete. Led Wheaton just a bit too much.
Good time, good movement by Ben Roethlisberger. Gilbert gets the right side blocked, and you said it right. Let's give this offensive line of the Pittsburgh Steelers some credit. They went into halftime and got it straightened out, and they've been much better here in the second half protecting Ben Roethlisberger. You know, we always talk about when they're doing bad. They're doing well so far here in the second half.
3rd and 10. Safety valve, but nothing there but a yard for Bell. And they will call on the field goal. They need, of course, a couple of scores anyway, but I'd love to, if you're Roethlisberger, put it in the end zone on this trip down the field, but need the field goal to cut it to 7.
3rd long, nowhere to go with the football. Very good decision, not trying to force it by Roethlisberger. The safe defense paid off down near the goal line for the Vikings.
Sweezen, 28 yards. Let's go on the hold. Warren snaps it back, and the kick is good. So the Vikings miss at the other end. Sweezen connects, coming back for the Steelers, and within 7 now.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Charles Schwab. And by Subway. Train hard, eat fresh.
Well, Phil, you've been here 4 times to London to watch this NFL International Series. And again, Jacksonville will be hosting San Francisco in a month's time as they get 2 games here this year. What do you think about football here?
I think it has a chance. I really do. I think it's like an event, Jim. It's a party to everybody over here. It's so unique to them. And to me, this might be the best game we've seen over here. Big plays, everything fans love to see.
To Sherrills, and drops to a knee. We have some sad news to pass along. According to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, former Steeler defensive end legend L.C. Greenwood has died He played 13 years for the Steelers, part of the fabled Steel Curtain defense during the dynasty years of the 70s. 4-time Super Bowl champion, 6-time Pro Bowl selection. LC was 67 years old. Teammates with a couple of those great gentlemen up there.
Sorry to hear that, of course. Drive starter, that's what they need right here.
So, to Rudolph. And they'll give him a yard. We have an update coming out of New York. Back to James Brown.
17th unanswered by Seattle.
2 minutes and 40 seconds left in regulation. Matt Schaub just throws it up, and Richard Sherman picks it off, goes 58 yards for a touchdown, which ties the game. And I don't know why they're throwing the football in that situation.
No question about it. Jim Nance, Phil Sims.
Wow, what a gift with just outside of 2 minutes to go with the lead.
Well, being aggressive, trying to win the game, sometimes it can backfire. And Pittsburgh took the timeout there, Jim.
Speaking of blown leads, this has been the Vikings story of this young season. Led it 1-1 at halftime week 1, with lost at Detroit, and then lost at Chicago with the Cutler winning touchdown pass, and Hoyer and the Browns beat them last week in the last game. Hassel completes the slant pass to Simpson. It'll set up a huge 3rd and 1.
What a big play that was, and all what you've done in leading up to these last couple minutes, it comes down to how you're going to be judged, good or bad. What happens? I think that was a run play, and he decides to throw it backside. It was a run play, and Jerome Simpson, nice throw by Matt Castle, and a good catch.
As we move inside of 3 minutes, we got Peterson lined up back there in the I formation. Everyone in the building thinks he's going to get it here. And he does, and he picks up the first. Picks up 4, needed 1.
Got to give him a lot of credit for these 3 plays. 2 passes, that run by Peterson, Matt Castle on 2nd down.
Coming up, the Subway postgame show when this one ends. JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, Coach Power. All the highlights, maybe even some bonus coverage. All coming up on the Subway postgame show. Just want to send along our best to our great colleague, Tom Fishman. To an accident home this week, resting comfortably, and we wish him a very speedy recovery. 1st and 10, the give to Peterson. Again, he was able to shake off a few hits, bring it to the 2-minute warning after a run of about 4. 2 minutes to go. Vikings by 7. You're watching the NFL. The Will family hoping the Vikings can close it out here with 2 minutes to go. Mark on the right, Lenny in the middle, and his son. 2 timeouts for the Steelers. 2nd and 6 for Minnesota. And it's Peterson out to the 40. Gain of 3 and a timeout at 1:56. 3rd down on the way. 3rd and 3, and a must stop for the Steelers to have any chance.
Yes, they are a big bootleg team, the Minnesota Vikings. Would they call it here in a big situation?
There go Peterson. Peterson crashes into McClendon, and the Steelers make the stop. And they've called the timeout.
Pittsburgh takes its 3rd and final timeout. This will be a 30-second timeout.
So Pittsburgh's going to get the football back. Just a reminder, we go back into the doubleheader business next week. Early, many of you are going to see New England at Cincinnati. And late, Peyton Manning and the Broncos will be down in Dallas. Take on the Cowboys. All get started with our buddies back in the studio with the NFL today at noon Eastern.
Peyton Manning off to I'd say a pretty good start.
Yeah, it's been decent.
It's really unbelievable. 73%, over 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns, no interceptions.
We'll see him next week down in Dallas. Locked into punt.
Minnesota played it very conservative, trying to hope their defense could stop the Steelers with no timeouts.
We would have liked to have seen Minnesota, that punt travel a little past the 20. It's a 36-yard punt, fair catch by Brown. And again, after the game, the Subway postgame show with JB, Dan, Shannon Boomer, Coach Coward. All the scores and highlights coming up on the Subway postgame show. No timeouts. 1:43 to play.
Situations like this is when it pays. Robinson, and Jared Allen, two good outside pass rushers. Can they hold them out?
From the 22, Roethlisberger fires complete. Cotchery looks for the sideline, races down it all the way to the Minnesota 42. Rhodes, the rookie, tried to make a play for the pick, and it goes for 36.
You're in a situation like this. Jared Allen almost gets there, and now not only that do you give up the play, it's the extra yards afterwards. In that type of defense like they're playing right here, that's almost unforgivable. Now, when you look at the time, 1:35, it almost makes it puts almost everything in the favor of the Steelers offense.
From the 42 with 1:35. Roethlisberger open right across the middle. That's Brown. And how much are the last 2 weeks weighing on the minds right now of the Minnesota defense?
Oh, tremendous. Everything. Even on their offense.
And Roethlisberger spikes it.
Once again, they went with the blitz when they wanted to play. When you don't get home with the blitz, too many big areas to throw to in that secondary, and that time they had Griffin. Let's just watch it. Here comes the blitz from this side as I watch the linebackers, but watch the defensive end drop back. Look at the space in the middle, and they take advantage of it again.
1:18. Second down and 10. Over to Miller, who steps out at the 25.
What's great about this communication to the quarterback, you can always keep telling them situations. And it's just third down, because as a quarterback, Jim, you can be going, oh, it's second down. You forget about the spikes sometimes. So Todd Haley able to tell him and give him extra information to help him out with managing the game.
Roethlisberger with 364 yards against a secondary that's missing 2 starters. Trying to rally from 17 down in the 4th. With a 3rd and 3. He could run for it, but throws instead and gets the first at the 20. Brown now with 10 catches, a career high. They'll hurry to the line. Stops the clock with 59 seconds. I wasn't sure it was that necessary to burn a play right there with the spike.
Yeah, it's borderline. It is, but what has happened so far, why you can probably afford it, Jim, is just the fact that I think you know what defense you're going to see. And if I was Minnesota, winning down here, if any confusion at all, you still have 2 timeouts. Don't be afraid to use one.
Back inside that last minute of the 4th, which has been the killer for the Vikings the last 2 weeks. 2nd and 10. Roethlisberger goes underneath to Brown. Stutter step move and a fall to the ground at the 12. It'll be 3rd and about 3 coming up. Running with 35. It's Roethlisberger. Finds Brown, who catches it on the rebound. Inside of 30. What a catch. What concentration by Antonio Brown. And now with no timeouts, he spikes it at 22 seconds. Just incredible.
You make these type of plays, Jim, because so many passes go his way, and he's had such a terrific start. He just comes up with the extraordinary play like that because he's so involved. And now, Ben Roethlisberger is going to get 3 plays off most likely. If he needs 3, because I would think every one of these will go into the end zone.
Second and goal from the 6 with 22 seconds. Roethlisberger, pressure on him, has to throw it away. Allen, for the first time in this second half, was gunning for the quarterback and forced the throw away.
Confusion. How do you, it looks like he's not even blocked, coming from the outside. Oh, they don't. They somehow miss the assignments. Big on big. Mike Adams is a big guy. Look to the outside and take the first big guy. That's Jared Allen.
Third down coming up. 19 seconds. Which team is going to save the season?
That's the umbrella defense. Try to keep it in front of you is what they're doing.
Roethlisberger cannot afford a sack right now. And the ball comes out. And the Vikings have made the play to seal the victory. Griffin knocked it out of his hands. And the Viking defense puts it into this one. Williams with the recovery.
Game on the line, the defensive line of the Minnesota Vikings. The play didn't happen real fast. And what a play by Griffin. The Vikings said, don't forget, we have 3 excellent defensive ends. They can get to the quarterback. They're running the pick play. There's not much the Steelers can do because it's well orchestrated.
Grabbed them on the back of the pads, pulled them down, the ball came out, and Minnesota is going to escape with the victory. Game is over in London. The Vikings win it 34-27. And the Steelers, for the first time in 45 years, are 0-4.
Every Sunday, you know that. Me too, brother.
Furious rally falls short. Castle completes his last 11 passes, Phil.
Well, I think he's one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL. I would think, Jim, that he would start their next game because of his performance and the way the offense performed all day today, too. It was a terrific game plan and well executed by Matt Castle.
It was Greenway who picked off Roethlisberger in this game. Castle, tremendous performance coming in as a starter for the first time in a Minnesota uniform. The Vikings take it. Peterson with 2 touchdowns. Jennings caught 2 scores. And Minnesota walks away with the win at Wembley. For Phil Simms and all the crew, Jim Nance saying so long from London, England. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. We'll join James Brown in New York after this.